Do you need a break? When was the last time you took a holiday? Welcome back to the podcast, everybody. My name is Donna and I am your host. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode. Today we are talking all about holidays. I know it is sunny outside and everybody's mind is drifting to warm waters and sandy beaches, and I don't blame them. I actually had a friend on Facebook today post a picture of her cup of tea sat on a table with her legs up on a stool saying it feels like Spain. And I think that's what happens in the UK at least. When we get some good weather, we just feel like, oh, I want to be on holiday. This should be holiday time. And to some degree, as solo entrepreneurs working for ourselves, we have some advantage there that we can sit outside and do our work. But hands up, how many people actually do that? Because I don't. One, I wouldn't be able to see my screen. It'd be very frustrating. But it is one of those things that we have these advantages as people who work for ourselves, to have this flexibility to move around and do these things. But the reality of it is most of us don't. Now, there are some people that live that kind of nomadic lifestyle where they get in a van and they just go and they work from their laptops, or they're travelers and they just travel to different places and they've got their laptop and they work and it works out fine. But even then, I feel like there is this pressure on those people to work 365 days of the year, and not actually take a holiday where they are tuned out from their work, because it's there right in front of them all the time. And that is the same for us, especially if we work from home. It is there all the time. It is so super easy to just get lost in your work, lose track of time, and before you know it, you haven't taken a holiday in 9 months. And I'm not even kidding. We are now 6 months into the year, and the last holiday I took was when I when I took Christmas off last Christmas. So that is the only time I have had off, and we are in June and we have not taken any time off. And it is difficult because as somebody who is a solo entrepreneur, you are the one doing all the work. It is so easy to work. We've conditioned ourselves to it. You wake up, your work is there. You work from home, you work all day, you have dinner, you go back and you check your emails. You know, we, by the very nature of weddings, we work weekends, and it is just a continual cycle. And before you know it, you haven't had any time off. And so this is what I want to address in this podcast today. So work comes easy, taking time off doesn't. And there's a number of reasons for that, and we will get to that. But I wanted to just touch on the benefits of actually taking time off work. So first, number one, top benefit of taking time 100% off work is reducing your stress levels. Now, you may think, but if I take time off, I'm not doing my work and that's going to stress me out. If you plan for it, it won't. We will get to that. But it is a big stress reliever. When you are going all the time, it is just building up the stress in your body, which is no good for anybody. We know how dangerous stress can be. So I really want to encourage you to take this seriously. You may think, oh yeah, holiday, I don't really need it, Donna. It doesn't matter. It is so important to take time out for yourself. So number one is the stress relief. Number two is your productivity levels will increase. Now, you know I am big on productivity and I am feeling the strain of it. My focus is slightly off. I am not being as productive as I know I could be. I'm blaming all of my tools, and really I think I just need to mentally decompress from everything that I am focusing on so that I can get back to it 100%. And that is what's stopping allows you to do. So it actually increases your productivity at the time that you actually do spend working. And one of the things I really want to be able to move to is a 4-day work week. And now that's not going to be in the near future. Got to stop working weekends first, right? But it is one of those things that I have seen other entrepreneurs do, move to a 4-day work week. And I think if you've got your systems in place, and if when you are working, you are 100% on task, you can get your work done in a shorter space of time. And I would encourage you to look at how much time do you spend doing your work versus doing non-work tasks during your work hours? Because it happens to me all the time, because a lot of what I do is based around social media, and you will find this too. You end up going on Facebook to post a post and something catches your eye and you look at that, and before you know it, you've lost 15 minutes and maybe more. But generally for me, I can sort of catch myself in within 15 minutes and go, oh, that's not what I came here for. Or I'll go, you shouldn't be scrolling, and I'll come out of Facebook like, get out of Facebook, you shouldn't be in there. And I go, oh, I went in there for a reason, and I have to open it back up again. How many times have you done that? Please pop it in the comments below this podcast or video and let me know that I am not alone in that, because it happens way too often. So that is then non-work time when you are caught in those scroll holes. Going and getting a cup of tea. If you work from home and your partner works from home, how many times do you end up stopping in at the kitchen and having a chit chat, and before you know it, 20 minutes has gone and you haven't done anything with that time? That also happens with me because my partner does work a regular 9 to 5, but since the pandemic, he's been working from home and he hasn't yet gone back to working in the office full time. So it does happen here for me. It might well happen for you, especially if your partner also works from home. Another thing that taking time off from work does, and this one I think is really important for us as creatives, is it increases your creativity. It refreshes it and replenishes that creativity. So by taking time off, you are decompressing from work. You're not thinking about it. You're not stressing about it. You're not even thinking about being creative. You're just having a holiday. And how many times have you heard people say, oh, I have my best ideas when I'm in the shower? Because they're completely switched off, maybe singing to some music, but they're completely switched off from work, and then the ideas come. So by taking time off, stopping and not thinking about the work that needs that creative energy, you are increasing and replenishing your creativity. The other thing time off gives you is it gives you time to rest in a number of ways. So you can rest your mind, and I don't know about you, but every book that I have read recently has been a business or self-development book, and it is there for a purpose, and I'm just reading it because I need the knowledge and I want more knowledge, and that is quite draining. The podcasts I listen to, they are work related. I only have a couple of podcasts on my list that I listen to that are not work related or self-development related. So it's always about taking in this knowledge. When you stop and take a break, take a holiday, you've got time to read a fiction book, a storybook. Wouldn't that be nice? You have got time to really take in your surroundings, like take a walk in a country park or down the local park, wherever. Go for a hike. You have that time to look at this beautiful world that we live in, because there are very beautiful elements to it that we should all take advantage of and look at, and just reconnect with the space around us rather than just rushing with our blinkers. And I feel like it's what we do when we're working. We've got our blinkers on and we are not paying any attention to anything around us. We're not stopping to smell those roses, and it is so, so important. The other thing it gives you is social rest. So how many times have you said, no, I can't come out tonight, sorry, I've got work to do, or no, I can't do this weekend, I've got a wedding, or it'd be lovely to go out for dinner, but I just haven't got the time. All of those things stop us having that social connection with people. And we know more than ever now that we need that connection with people, and we should be spending time with our friends. So by taking time off, You can say, okay, I'm taking this week off. Your friends might not necessarily have that time off, but they may be more inclined to go out for dinner because maybe they work 9 to 5 jobs. So therefore they are better at taking that time off than we are. And they don't have to take their work home with them, and we live with our work. So definitely take advantage of that. Go down the pub, meet your friends, take a day trip with your friends, arrange it so that, the week that you've got holiday, maybe every day you're going to a different place with a different set of friends, and they just have to take a day off work, and you've got the whole week planned out, something like that. It's that freedom to choose what you want to do and who you want to do it with that you get back when you take holiday. And then there's the physical rest. Now, obviously, I know that we work really hard on wedding days, on our feet, 12 hours upwards sometimes, and it is an exhausting time. However, a lot of the time we're sat at our desks and we're not moving at all. So we have got to find that balance. And I feel like we really only do that moving on the wedding days, and the rest of the time we're pretty stationary. And I don't know if you've got a Fitbit or an Apple Watch or something that calculates your steps, but I find it very upsetting when I look at my steps, because I literally sit in this chair for 8-9 hours a day, getting up. I've brought myself upstairs into my craft room space, as you can see if you're watching the video, rather than being in the office downstairs. Not because I don't like sitting next to my other half, because I do, but it gives me that extra set of steps to do, because I've got to go downstairs and come upstairs again anytime I want a cup of tea. So it just gets my steps up, which was my thought process behind it. And it is crazy to me that we just are supposed to be doing 10,000 steps a day. And guys, we're not supposed to be doing 10,000 steps a day. This is just a number that the government plucked out of the air to try and get us to move more, which is fair enough. But I barely do 2,000 most days. When I used to work outside of the home, I was at around 7,000, because again, I worked in an office. It was a struggle to get my steps up. So I look at my steps. I know I'm very, very stationary for most of the day. I do work out 3 times a week, something that is sort of high energy, and then I do a mat class as well. So that is 4 times a week that I'm exercising, but I don't feel like it's enough. So taking a holiday really gives you the advantage to, if you are the adventurous type, go hiking, get on a bike, get some physical energy going, because that will be good for your brain. If you are somebody who is back-to-back weddings, doesn't do the admin, maybe you've got somebody who does all the admin side of stuff, and you are literally out every day, meetings and whatnot, and then doing weddings and being there on wedding days and doing weddings through the week. Maybe you are a go kind of person, and you are constantly doing over 10,000 steps a day. In that case, your holiday is about taking rest time, lay on that couch, Netflix and chill it out, and enjoy not moving. Some people that's hard. For me, it's very easy, which is why I don't mind sitting in the chair all day, but I know it's not good for me. That's an aside. But that is what you can do when you go on holiday. You have that choice to make. And by going on holiday, I don't mean you have to go somewhere physically, but you need to be able to take that time. I feel I do have to go somewhere if I want to really enjoy my holiday, because my work is here at home, and it's just too easy to come into this room and I'll just check this and I'll just check that. So you need to be mindful if that is you. Maybe you've got a lock on your office door and you can lock it and give the key to somebody else so you can't get in there for the week. That might help if you either haven't got the funds to go away somewhere, or you don't want to physically go somewhere else. So looking at the traditional setup for holidays, regular people, they get 4 weeks holiday a year plus the bank holidays usually. So you get 20 to 28 days holiday a year. When you're self-employed, you get 0 holidays a year. Did you know that? You didn't read that in your contract when you wrote it out, did you? But the truth is, a lot of people go to self-employment for the freedom that it gives them. And you may be the same. I know that in the wedding industry, we choose the industry because we love it. And that may have just happened to be that you needed to be self-employed, and self-employed wasn't really what you were looking for. It's just that was the only way you could get into it. And I think that is a lot. Because of the profit margins and the way we work on numbers, it's very difficult for somebody who has a wedding business to take on staff in some cases. It's a very fine line between when you've got too much work on that you need somebody else, but not enough work on to pay somebody else. So there is that issue, and it's sometimes easier for somebody else just to start a business of their own. So when you are self-employed, you literally do not write yourself out a contract. And I would urge you to do it. Write yourself out a contract for your self-employed position in your business. You know, what are the benefits of working for you? What are the holidays? What are the hours of work? Because I tell you something, we go self-employed, and there is a reel on Instagram somewhere, and I think I've mentioned it on the podcast before, where they say, I wanted to stop the 9 to 5 job because I didn't want to do 9 to 5 anymore, and now I do 24/7. And it is so, so true. And we don't have that contract with ourselves. So you think that you're going to get this freedom, you think you're going to be able to be more flexible with your time, and instead you end up working yourself to burnout. And that is what I'm really trying to get us to avoid in this podcast. Is I don't want you getting to the point of burnout, and holidays are so important. So write yourself a contract. I urge you to do that on your next free office day. Not free, because I know we work all the time and we've got no free time. But obviously I would say do it at the weekend. But I know most of you are probably working a wedding at the weekend, and Sundays are sacred in my book. When I was a wedding photographer, I would do the wedding on the Saturday, and Sunday I wouldn't do anything. That was recovery day. You are not getting me out of bed until at least 12, and I am doing nothing for the rest of the day. And I hope you are the same way. But maybe tomorrow, which will be Friday if you're listening to this when it goes live, or hey, tomorrow, whenever you are listening to this, unless it's a day that you've got a wedding the following day, the next office day you have, write yourself out a contract. Write down the terms and conditions, the benefits that you are going to receive, and make it happen, because you deserve it. You deserve to be looked after. A lot of people leave corporate because they don't like the way they were treated, and you come home, start working for yourself, and treat yourself worse. It's insane. So let's take the time to plan this out and make it happen. And that leads me on to why we don't have holiday. We don't have holiday because we don't plan it. And we don't plan it because there's nobody saying, if you don't use your holiday, you're going to lose it. Use it or lose it. I have the advantage that I have a partner that does do a 9 to 5 job. And if you have somebody who works for somebody else in your household, you may have this as well. So it may be slightly easier for you to book in your holiday because you're working around theirs. But if you do not have anybody else in the house that works for a company, it is a lot harder for you to think of those holidays. And I have to say that for me, my other half, he's a worker. He's a worker bee. He will just work until he's told to stop. And that often means, especially because he's working from home now as well, most of the time, that I have to go in and say, it's 5:30. Although a lot of the time I don't do that because I'm up here working as well. So he will eventually stop work, and it might be 6 o'clock. Well, he's supposed to finish work at 5. 5:30, and he's often going to 6:30 without even blinking. And sometimes when I've been carried away up here and I haven't gone downstairs at around that time, I've caught him still working at 7 o'clock. So it is difficult to stop him working. And in that, if we haven't planned to go abroad and actually booked something, he doesn't think about his holiday. He has got so much work on, and there is so many things that need to be looked at and sorted, that he doesn't think about the time that he's got to take off. He just thinks about the time that he needs to do his work. So he doesn't think about holiday. He could quite easily work a whole year without taking any holiday, which isn't a good thing. But it made me stop yesterday and say to him, how many days holiday have you got left? Because I knew that we hadn't taken any in the last 6 months. And I knew that that meant that he would have quite a bit of holiday. And I know that his new year starts September 1st and he's not supposed to take any time off in August. So he works for a college, if you haven't worked it out. And he works in the systems department. So he's not supposed to really take time off in August. They kind of like everybody to be in August because you've got new enrolments, the enrolment system to sort out. You've got the timetabling, allocation of rooms and things like that. That's all the kind of stuff that he deals with. And then the exam results and new people coming in, applications and things like that. So it is a very busy time in a college in August. So the admin staff aren't generally allowed to take time off. However, I don't know if it's a result of the pandemic and everybody working from home a majority of the time that they're not thinking about taking holiday, but a lot of them seem to have forgotten to take their holiday. So he has 13 days left and he's got to use them by September, and he really can't take any time off in the last 2 weeks of August. So we have got from now, the 22nd of June, until the 15th of August to take 13.4 days holiday. So that is the situation when you don't plan. And that is for whether you are at work or working from home. I was big on my holiday. I knew exactly when I wanted to take it when I was working for somebody else. I was taking that holiday, don't you worry. I used to sit there at the beginning of the year and plan it so that I could get a similar amount of time to Matthew at Christmas, because he actually finishes sort of in line with the school timetable. So when college shuts on sort of the 21st of December, he doesn't go back until the 4th. So he gets almost 2 weeks there, and he's told that he has to keep some holiday back for that. So I would do the same. We had the same thing where we had to keep some days off for in between Christmas and New Year. And I would try and save some holiday so I could have the same time off as him. Now working for myself, as you may know if you have been following me for a while, I take Christmas off, 2 weeks at Christmas. That is my time. I do not put a podcast up then because I am with my family. I am taking that time. Now, could I preload and make sure that I've got a podcast to go up over Christmas? Yes, I could do that, but it's about taking time out. And I think it is very difficult for us when we work for ourselves to balance that, because we do feel like, well, if I take time off, it's not really time off because I've just got to work twice as hard the week before I go, and then I've got to pick up all the slack when I come back. I would say that benefits of taking that week off are high enough that is important to just take that on. Now, it is possible that you might be able to afford like a VA to do some work for you over that week while you're away, maybe sort through your emails so that anything that's not important can get shoved in a corner and important things are folded and responded to with an out of office, but that they are put in a folder so that you can deal with them when you get back and you know which are the important ones to deal with. That might be something that you could do. You may be able to get a VA to post your blog posts and things like that so that you're not actually having to do all of the pre-work. You may be creating the content, but somebody else is going to deliver that content for you while you're away. So that is an option for you. Alternatively, a little bit of extra work in the weeks prior to your holiday can really help. And I think if you plan it, then you are able to spread that workload out over a wider space of time. So it may be that instead of sitting there and doing a week's worth of social media in your social media time, you do a week and a couple of days, and that gives you those couple of days for your holiday. And you know, they don't have to be time specific posts as long as they're posts that are going up for you. So you could just be quite general in those posts, but you can plan them and get them scheduled maybe 4 weeks before you go away. You do an extra couple of posts in your scheduling time so that you are preloaded for that week when you go away, and maybe even got a couple for when you come back, so it's not the first thing you have to think about when you come back. And the same with your blog posts. Maybe when you sit down and write your blog post, you write half of another blog post while you're at it, or write a whole another blog post. So you write 2 in one go, and then you build up that way. I am big believer in batching your work. So if you can batch it, then batch it, because then it's just going to make this so much easier for you. So what I want you to do as a result of this is, 1, write yourself a contract and be kind to yourself. 2, plan your 4 weeks holiday for the next 12 months. Book in at least 3 weeks where you are going to take time off. You will know when your weddings are for the next 12 months. You will have them already in the books. There may be some last minute weddings. You're going to know the kind of weeks where they might fall. So, the summer months, you might find that you know that you're not going to get last minute bookings there because everywhere's booked up. So maybe it's going to be spring, maybe it's going to be autumn weekends that you're looking at. Maybe you don't worry about that, because your health and well-being is the most important thing for your business. So take 3 weeks and book them out. I'm saying book them out. I'm not saying book somewhere, book them out. So say the first week of March, I'm going to have a week off. The first week of October, I'm going to have a week off, and I'm going to take Christmas week off. And those are my 3 weeks in the year that I'm taking off. Then you have another week. Well, you have as many weeks as you want, really. I mean, how many weeks holiday do you want? I always wanted to increase the amount of holiday that I took once I was self-employed. I think when you're in the beginning of your business, that isn't possible. But it might be, depending on how quickly you take off. If you are 4 or 5 years down the line in your business, you might find that actually you've got your systems in place and your business works like a well-oiled machine, and you can take more time off. So definitely look at it. I'm giving you 4 weeks. 4 weeks is a minimum, guys. Minimum. Take 4 weeks. So plan those 3 weeks, and then have your 4th week being a floating week, where maybe you need to get together with some friends that you like to go away with and plan a week away with them, and that is your week for that. But book that time in. Take some time off, get that R&R, breathe, just mentally breathe, and just take that time for yourself. It is so important. And in this beautiful weather, it would be really nice to take some holiday. You have to set your expectations with your clients. You have to put that out of office on and let them know that things are being dealt with, but you are on holiday and you will be back, and not to worry. Send an email out to your clients and let them know that you're taking time off and that you will not be responding to phone calls or emails, but you will, there will be nothing urgent that pops up. But if something urgent pops up, that they can send a message, maybe have somebody that you work closely with be able to pick up that message, or work with a VA, so that if there is something that is life or death, that it comes to you. But the truth is that nothing is going to be that serious. And if you have planned your holiday so that you don't have a wedding the weekend following when you come back, or that week that you come back, then you know that you've got time to deal with anything when you get back. So I hope you enjoyed that episode. I hope you are now thinking about when you could take a summer holiday. And as for me, I've got that week off coming in July, and this weekend I am away celebrating my birthday with a spa weekend with 2 of my sisters and our partners. So I am super excited about that. It has meant this week has been a little stressful because I didn't plan myself properly. So I am going to go and listen to my own advice, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.